he was diagnosed with the flu and transferred to a different Border Patrol station to prevent it from spreading to others. The next day, he was found dead.
That was one of the 6 migrant minors who died in Border Patrol custody. And the reason why we're talking about this young man again today is because Carlos Gregorio Hernandez Vasquez had an autopsy, or there was a forensic analyst who looked into the cause of death to try to figure out exactly what happened. And this is incredibly important to do because we want to understand exactly why so many migrants have been dying in Border Patrol custody. As many as 24 have died so far. At least 6 of them have been children. And so Border Patrol is saying, no, it's not our fault. They're showing up sick. But the autopsy indicates that that is not the case. And I'm gonna be completely honest before I get into the gruesome details of this autopsy. This is difficult to read about. It's difficult to even talk about because this was a 16-year-old unaccompanied minor whose parents are still back in Guatemala, and he came here, seeking safety, and the way that he was treated is just inhumane, to say the least. So he actually died in May, and according to the Texas Monthly, Carlos Gregorio Hernandez Vasquez crossed the border near Weslaco alone on May 13th. At that point, he was held in a processing center for unaccompanied minors in nearby McAllen for 6 days until getting sick around May 19th. So at that point, he should have been taken to a hospital, but he was not. He did see a nurse practitioner, according to the Texas Monthly, and that nurse found that he had a 103-degree fever. Now, he was not sick when he first arrived to the detention facility. He became very sick with the flu, and he tested positive for the flu. At that point, he was prescribed Tamiflu and transferred back to the Border Patrol station. Hernandez died the next morning. This is the part that's difficult to even think about. There was a video that was shown to the woman who did the autopsy. And according to the video, he's seen lying on the floor, vomiting on the floor. And he walks over to the commode where he sits and later lies back and expires. That is according to the autopsy report. That's what the forensic pathologist wrote. And he was surrounded by his own vomit. And I just want to give you a sense of what Border Patrol did wrong in this case. They are supposed to transfer minors within 72 hours, and they failed to do that. They're supposed to transfer the child to the Office of Refugee Resettlement within 72 hours. Not only have they failed to do that with the migrants who died, but they failed to do that with migrants overall. And they're completely admitting that. So they're breaking the law and confessing that they're breaking the law, but there haven't been any consequences.
Not for them.
Not for them.
There's been consequences for other people.
There have been consequences for the migrants, some of whom have gotten very sick or lost their lives. And I just want to remind you that our lawmakers just handed the Trump administration $4.6 billion in taxpayer money with no safeguards to improve the conditions that these migrants are being kept in. And that is the reason why Nancy Pelosi was so angry with AOC and other freshman Democrats. They voted against that appropriations bill because they actually have a conscience. Let me give you more. Dr. Judy Melinek, who's also a forensic pathologist, said the following: in my opinion, there needs to be a public health audit of the policies and conditions in these migrant camps and a forensic review of all migrant deaths. There are already laws that are being broken. So I agree that there should be an audit, but what's the audit gonna do if we have an administration that has absolutely no willingness to follow the rules, has no willingness to treat people humanely, and we have a certain portion of the electorate who reads about this stuff and thinks, all right, this is what we voted Trump in for.
Yeah, and there's not gonna be consequences for the people. Like for the people, as you filter down through the bureaucracy, if some people die, there's not gonna be consequences. It's like odd and it's weird, it's noteworthy that an autopsy is done in the first place. And so even when something terrible happens, something again, which is not predictable specifically, but we know is going to happen, we know we're gonna get more of these sorts of cases, it's not gonna be consequences for them.
Yeah.
And I apologize if this is a weird thing to focus on. I only say it because I never lived right near the border. Most Americans don't live near the border. And so I think that when you just hear about a place at the border, you think about some remote place out in the desert or the scrub or something like that. But I noticed that they said he was transferred to McAllen. And my fiance's from right next door to McAllen. McAllen this might be a weird thing to say, but it is a bustling place. It's rapidly expanding, huge economic growth and everything.
No, Trump told us that it's crime-ridden and dangerous and full of MS-13 and drug cartels.
Well, I can't speak to that. I didn't see any. I can say that there's tons of trade over the border every single day of people with money passing over from Mexico and stuff like that. Like, this is not like, they just couldn't get help to him because he was off in the middle of nowhere. He was very much not in the middle of nowhere.
The thing that I can't get past is, and I don't know, maybe just to be able to handle these types of stories, I need to not do this, but I can't help but think of who I was at 16 and how scared I would be to travel to a foreign place by myself, right? And then be placed in that condition without my family, without anyone I know, and just at that, you're dying. Right? If you're suffering from that illness and you're vomiting all over the place and you're by that toilet, like you're dying alone. Like that 16-year-old kid died alone.
Yeah.
And I can't get over that. I can't get over the fact that we're letting this happen. And we have 30% of the country who thinks it's okay.
Yeah.
They look at this and they think awesome,
Or don't want to be told about it in the first place.
No, they know. And they don't care. And it had been over a decade since a migrant had died in Border Patrol custody. Trump is now in charge, and now we have at a minimum of 24 migrants dying under his watch.
Yeah.
And it's sick. It's sick that his base still remains loyal to him regardless of how many people die as a result.
Thanks for watching this free clip of the Young Turks. Don't forget to become a TYT member today. For more exclusive content, join now at tyt.com/join.